Give up the love. Give it up. Give it up. Give up the love for your girl. Your girl, Coach LockMarie. Yes, yes. You know what time it is. Give me my love. Give me my love. That's right. It's time for the LockMarie Talk Show. How are you guys today on this beautiful Sunday, Monday? I'm doing a video while I'm doing the intro, so don't mind me. I think I'm cute this morning, so you know how we do women. When we think we looking cute, when we smelling ourselves, feeling fly, you know how we do. I'm in that mood today. Yes, yes, yes. It is a beautiful still day. The weather, I'm not sure what it's like out there. But I'm going to tell y'all, so I don't know. Well, yeah, y'all know. If you've listened, if you've tuned in, you know I no longer reside in California. I am now a resident of Alabama. Woo woo, sweet home Alabama. And this Alabama weather it be tricking you, like for real. Cause it be looking all nice, and you see, I look out the window before I get out the house, right? And I see the trees blowing in the wind, and I'm like, okay, the sun be shining. So I'm like, okay, it's sunny, but it's a little windy. So I dress according to what I see. No, that would be a negative. I get out there and I'll be like, that humidity hit me in my face, be like, grab my throat. I'm like, Lord. But yeah, I love it. I do not. Okay, I hear you, car. I'm sure y'all heard it too. Hey, that's one thing too. These boys and girls, women and men, boy, they got the monster cars and monster trucks, boy. You hear a lot of that out here. And they be nice too. They deck them out. But yes, I am so glad that is a decision that I bask in every day, thanking God that I made that decision. And it was an adult decision, one of my few what I consider real adult decisions I've made in my life that really went against all odds or all opinions, thoughts of what anyone else wanted or suggested. And I did what I knew was right for me. And ladies and gents, that's what you got to get to in life. You got to get to the place in your life where you do what is right for you. So I applaud everyone who has ever made the decision to do something that maybe other people didn't agree with, or maybe other people didn't understand, or maybe other people didn't, quite grasp the totality of what you were doing. And more than half of the time than not, the real reason behind all of that is what other people are afraid to do. Point blank. That's really what it is. People only come to you through their fears and their experience or lack of experience in life. And so you really can't blame them, because like I said, I've done it. I've had those thoughts or those feelings when other people have made decisions or came to me about something, maybe asked my thoughts on something that they were going to do, and so that's because that's human nature. That's all you can do. Really, if you're gonna go from your perspective. But what I'm learning is to just, people, if they ask you, you tell them, but you also let them know that when it boils down to it, the final cut, the final decision is theirs. What I say, that's to my liking, that's to what I would do as a person, and the only person that you really should care what they would do is yourself, because you're the only one who has to live with the consequences or the result of what it is that you do. Which brings us to our podcast on today, right? So I have heard a lot of sayings and cliches and proverbs throughout my life and things, and so there's one that has really kind of takes me back. And even when I was from my first marriage into my second marriage, I don't think I've ever said this phrase in pertaining to myself or my marriages, because it just doesn't make sense to me. And so I just wanted to discuss it, because I'm not the one to argue with people. People have their ideas, they have their ideologies, they have their opinions, and everyone's entitled to it, just like I'm entitled to mine. And so I come here on my podcast where I can just run amok and do what I please. And I don't mess with nobody. I stay in my lane. If you want to tune in and hear it, you tune in and you listen. If you don't, more power to you. No love lost, and my feelings are still my feelings. And so this one particular saying is really taking off with people, and I think about it before I kind of like get an understanding for myself, like, okay, if I would say this, why would I say this, or why would most people say this? And from what I have concluded from my own perspective, is it's a badge of honor for the person who says it, or it's a people say things to make themselves feel better. That's like, let's see, if you were a part of a team, right? You're going to make everyone who's not a part of that team think that team is the best team to join. For anyone who's trying to join a team, you're going to really promote your team, right? And so it's understandable. Whatever phase a person is in life, then yes, they promote it, they push it. And so I get it. At the same time, my issue comes with things in which I also try not to do, is when we make clear across the board blanket statements for like everyone, as if it's 100% for whatever is included or involved in that particular situation. All men or all women, you know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot say. If you're going to do that, then you just need to say all human beings, because that's about all humans are breathing or something like that. There's not too much that you can pinpoint where everybody is doing one thing or agreeing with one thing. You just cannot say that. And so I know y'all like, well, you just go on and say what you Well, y'all know how I do. I have to build up the suspense. So shut your mouth and listen. So this particular topic or statement that we're going to discuss, that I hear, it's like I do not agree from the perspective that it's coming from when most people say it. Because, I read into the post and I listen to what they say when they say it. And it's okay for them to have that opinion. It's okay for them to think that way. I'm not telling them that they're wrong. I'm just not agreeing, because that is my God-given right not to. My God-given right to choose, right? We all have choices, and which I used to always, even in a marriage, I used to try to get spouses to understand. We will not, and it's okay for us not to agree on everything. Like, it does not make you wrong. It does not make me right. It does not make me wrong. It does not make you right. It does not make you less of a man. It does not make me less of a woman for us to disagree. It is human nature not to always agree, and it's okay for that, and we should be cool with that, right? You should not want someone to always be in agreement with you, because you never see other sides to things. You always should want to be able to think outside of your box or your circle. And that's even in a lot of religions and a lot of beliefs. People are so closed-minded, they never can hear or see anything or anyone else's side to understand the person or the people as to why they may live or think or do what they do. And so, So the statement is that in marriages, they say that marriage, and this is my question through this statement, okay? First, I'll say what they say. They say that marriage is not for the weak, okay? Now, that's what you hear. Oh, marriage is not for the weak. If you weak, you just, it ain't for you, right? You got to be strong in a marriage. You got to be strong to stick it out and this and that. And, they go into it, right? So my question then is, if marriage is not for the weak, then why does it take so much strength to leave one? And I'm going to sip some of my water and my tea on that. Like Kermit the Frog. Now, y'all know I love y'all. And I don't be, when I do my topics and stuff, and this is in life, like, I've always been a person to ask questions. And those who really observe and allow me to be me understand and know that because I ask a question, or just because I don't quite see what you see or agree with what you agree, does not mean that I'm saying you're, like I said, that you're wrong, or you know what I'm saying, or I'm downing you because my opinion is different from yours. It is just I'm a Gemini, and if you've done your research, we are very detailed, and we think a lot. And that's another thing. It's okay for me to overthink, because that is my nature. God has shown me that. Like, people say, don't overthink, You're telling me to do something that is instinctively created in me to do. Like, that is what I was created to do, to think. I've been thinking since I was a child. I would sit in a room full of people and have thoughts going and just laugh and be inquisitive. And that's how I really developed myself in a lot of ways with my intellect, because most people, especially during my younger years, adults didn't, when their era I came up, adults didn't involve children in conversations. So I had my own conversations, and yes, I did. And I, gathered conclusions and through observations. I'm a very observant person, and I'm an introvert. I'm a introverted extrovert, I guess you could say. I love people, but I love to just go within and to develop and to be proactive in life by really planning things out in my mind, and kind of getting clarification, I guess you say. And I think that's why most people from parents to spouses, if people don't want to be accountable for their actions, they don't like people who ask a lot of questions, because then they have to have an answer, or they have to be able to explain themselves. And men especially do not want to explain themselves, especially when they're not a man who have all the answers or have really any answers. They just want to fly by and just want you to just be their cheerleader, be their yes woman, and not ever question anything that they do or say, but just agree with everything. And that is not in my world. We're gonna laugh. That is not humanly possible. There is no one who was created to agree with you every step of the way, including the woman or the man that you vow your life to. That's just not God's will or plan for any individual. He gave us all free will to be individuals. And so in a marriage, in a partnership, it's always good for both people to be able to express themselves and to have a voice and have an opinion. And that is a downside, I'll say, to a part of the way I was raised in certain belief systems of churches when it comes to marriages. Like, the man's word is the last say, or the woman cannot have a voice or can't say. Like, there's certain ways that it has been presented that is very incorrect and not biblical at all. It was seriously, like, it's a man, or it was developed from a group of men who didn't want to be accountable for their actions and didn't want anyone to say anything. So, they express things the way they express them. But that's another topic for another podcast. So let's get back to the topic at hand and on this one. Marriage is not for the weak, so they say. Okay. My take on this is no, marriage is definitely for the weak. There's many weak folks in marriages. There's many weak folks in long-term marriages, because it doesn't take any strength at all. And I know, because like I said, I've been married twice. It takes no strength at all to stay in a marriage. Anybody can lay down and die. I'm just saying. If that is the case, right, then why do I, even to this day, have women who are telling me, who married women who have been married for over 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, some of them. And they tell me, and they reach out to me, or we have had conversations, and they have told me that they admire me and they wish they had the strength in them that I had in me. So what that is telling me And see, that's why I tell you guys, when I speak stuff, when I say stuff, it's not just because, like I said, I sit and I think and I observe and I have my conversations, with myself. Yes, I do. But I also have conversations with other people too. And it's because when I come out with something, it's because I have had multiple conversations with other people who have come to me in confidence or in secret. But I know that they have never said this in public or won't say this to other people because, for one, I've always been a sounding board for people. And this is from my teen years. Like, to this day, someone who I know, we were teenagers growing up. And I don't know if she's ever told anyone else, but I know women who have young girls, who have had abortions, who have, like, done things. And I know stuff about folks who their parents probably never know, or their siblings have never known, because they knew that I could be trusted. And I'm not saying it's a good thing, because some of the stuff I'll be like, why are you telling me this? I had some guy friends who would tell me some stuff. I'd be like, whoa, babe, whoa. TMI. Too much info. But, I understood because I knew that the person that God had created me to be. Which is why I wonder why I never went into counseling. Because I think I would have been a really good counselor. I think I did. Because I'm really good at being empathetic to people and their situations and stuff. And that's probably why I attract a lot of men, especially throughout the years as friends and confidants and just in general, for relationships, because men, for some reason, society don't listen to them, or they don't seem to be heard or seen, and I give them that space to be seen or to be felt as if they are a human, because they are. Hello, ladies, that's a tip for somebody out there. Some women wondering why her and her man not getting along, or wondering why he's out in somebody else's inbox or somebody else's face, or not giving you the attention you think you deserve. Then maybe you need to listen to him. Maybe you need to hear him. Like, seriously, hear him and understand him. And it'd be okay for him to be transparent and vulnerable with you. You are supposed to be that safe space for him, as you want him to be for you. And so that's one thing that I've always been given appreciation. People have always appreciated me for that. I have given them that space to just be them, And so, yeah. But back to the topic, it does not yet. And I wanted to expound on this because we have young people hearing what we're saying, right? We have young girls and young boys coming up, and they want to get married, because it's always been the thing to do. Every woman, every girl from a child has, watched the fairy tales and wanted the big weddings and the fantasies of the knight in shining armor coming to sweep her off their feet, and and so we have to stop. We're doing what our parents and grandparents, and I'm not talking about I'm just saying the generations of people before us did to us. In a sense, we're regurgitating, but in a new form and in a new verbiage, dysfunction and tainting, this next generation, and continuing those generational curses. It starts with what we say, and we have to be careful the words that come out of our mouth. Okay? Why would your daughter, you've been trying to get I want some grandkids. I want a son-in-law. But why would your daughter want to get married if you're telling her that it takes strength and endurance, and you make marriage seem like some tedious, hideous, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with, and this is growth for me, even with what I've been through and the marriages I've come through, right? Each marriage was total different, two totally different men. That's why I ended up married twice, and it probably won't be my last time, but I was married twice, because I knew that every man was not the same. And because I dealt with what I dealt with the first person, it did not make other men that way. And it also, maybe I thought that way because I had guy friends. Like I said, I have a lot of guy associates and friends, so I had dealt with men to know that men are different. And what I was getting from the spouse I was with wasn't what I got from other friends. So I knew, for one, it wasn't me per se. It was just, I didn't know how to attract anything else out of that person but what they had. And some people, if that's all they have to give you, that's all you're going to get from them, right? And so when you get into certain dynamics with people, especially in marriages, because like I always say, no one gets in a marriage dating because the dating was horrible. That's not why people anticipate getting married. Oh, he was just the worst boyfriend, so I can't wait to marry him. No. He was a good boyfriend, or he was fun, or you guys had excitement, or he brought something to the table that you never had, or he was your out. He was your out. Believe me, I know a lot of girls right now, because we were raised in very sheltered, very controlled environments. Some of us had, stepdaddies or daddies that were certain ways, or granddaddies that were certain ways, and we just wanted to be free of that, right? And this dude showed us attention. This dude came and was there, and that was our out. And so now you're in that marriage and you feel stuck, or you've been trying to work it out because one thing in particular, pride is involved. So you don't want other people to see you as a failure because you're still caring what other people think. Because, people fail at things all the time, quote unquote, if you want to use that word fail. People, leave jobs, they leave, companies, they leave friendships, they leave churches, they leave other stuff all the time. But no one calls that a failure. People just say, oh, that's a new opportunity, or that's a new, so why is it that a marriage, when someone leaves that, you want to really demonize them or demonize it as a failure, a failed marriage? Especially my first, because this time I didn't talk to a lot of people or tell people because I didn't have to. I had grew, and I knew I didn't need no one's accolades. I didn't need your approval. I didn't need your sympathy. I didn't need your pity. I didn't need your consolement. I didn't need any of that because I'm full grown. Like, I was full developed, right? So, but the first time around, I was still into that living for people, or living for approval, or needing comfort, or needing confirmation, right? This time I didn't need no I had my confirmation. I was my confirmation, right? The God within me was my confirmation. What I was dealing with was my confirmation that I deserved more and I deserved better, and I was going to get what I, knew my value and my worth was worth, right? Not to say that the person is less than or anything, or anyone who gets with that person after me was not for me for any further in my life. It does not take away from a person because I left, or because someone leaves you, that doesn't take away from you. That just means it just was not to continue on. It was, the season was up, right? And so I would talk to people when me and my son's father had separated and split, and they were like, oh, you're not together. I'm like, and the first thing they would say is, oh, I'm so sorry. And even then, though, like after I got out, I would laugh, and I'm like, why are you sorry? If I'm not sorry, why are you sorry? And they be like, oh, okay, but it's like, and I was impressed when I would meet people who would say, congratulations. Because I'm like, and then that would make me, I'd be like, thank you. Like, okay, so you get it, And they're like, oh, yeah. And mainly, more than not, it was people who had been through one themselves and had found that things were better because they were no longer in the situation. So they understood, which was that personal experience. Once again, people can only unless they are a person who, like me, who sits and thinks outside of the box, outside of their paper bag, outside of their four walls or their belief system, right? If you are one who does not do that, you will always only see other people's actions, decisions, or life choices through your fear. Something that you have not done, you will always project your fears of if that was you doing it, or oh my God, like I couldn't do, oh, I would never, or oh, how can they? But that's you. They're not you. And so that's why I say with that, marriage is not for the weak. Yes, it is. There are weak folks been married for 60, 70 years and gonna stay married because they're too weak to leave. And I'm just... I mean, if we're gonna talk we gotta talk both sides of this. Everybody that stays in a marriage is not strong. It just is what it is. And so I think if we would be real and more open with our children and stop always just making them think that, oh, this is just girl, you but then at the same time, get married, or you gotta give me some grandkids. And soon as she go out there and do it without getting married, then you trying to cover up, and then you trying to make folks think certain things, you know what I'm saying? Which I think a lot of people, especially those who are leading the churches and leading the young people, have forgotten and have really failed to ever tell the truth. Most of them are still living lies because no one knows that their child, well, people who smart know, because if you can calculate months and times, but your child was conceived out of wedlock. You were not married when you got married because you found out you were pregnant, but I've never heard, you expose everybody else, you tell everything else, kind of thing. And so it's like, we have to give people the same grace we wanted from Christ, or we wanted from those who knew our situation when we, went through things. Now, because it's 20, 30, 40 years later, 10, 15 years later, you're married and you got kids and grandkids, now all of a sudden you have forgotten from whence you came. And that is not, we should never forget. And that's why I think I still can relate to this new generation, and I still talk to and get along well with younger girls and younger guys, because I was a daughter once. I'm still a daughter, but I was them, right? I had a relationship with my mom that was rocky. I, was in that space where I did not get the love I thought I deserved, or, like, I understand being controlled or being told what to do and when to do it. And like, I remember, I have not forgot. Me and my son to this day can talk, and people will always probably look at our relationship like, oh my God, what is going on with that? If they are that type of strict, I'm not your friend kind of parent, because me and my son, we can talk. And he can say things to me that maybe I couldn't have said to my mom, or my mom couldn't have said. Well, no, my grandmother, and that's the thing, my grandmother was like me. We could always speak to my grandmother and say what we needed to say, or how, and it was never a problem because she understood. And I think if adults would remember and do things and listen out of love, listen out of empathy or concern, instead of listening out of control, or listening out, not even listening, just hearing it with already a preconceived view or thought of what you're going to say, I think things would be a lot different in relationships, in parent-child relationships, in spouse relationships, because it starts with your first relationship, which is one thing I've always respected with my son's father. He has never, ever, even now he's remarried, and he will let her know and anybody else know who David's mom is. And so I respect him for that. Not that it would matter to me if, like, I've always, I'm like, do you call her mom? Like, it's nothing to me, because I had a stepfather, and I have a father who has always been there as my father, right? He's not my biological, but no one know until I tell him. His wife didn't even know, and they were married almost 10 years until, from what I hear, my brother, and her had a conversation, because that's, to him, I'm his daughter. And so I get it. You know what I'm saying? It did not take away from, had my biological father still been living, God rest his soul, but had he still been living, it would not have taken away from who he was as my biological father, because my bonus father had stepped up and became my dad. I still loved him as my bio dad because he gave me life. And maybe it's just my concept of it as a child growing up, or, as an individual. And I'm grateful that I was able to impart this into one of my cousins, and she was able to have, a good relationship with one of my uncles. And she didn't hold it against him because he was not there. And, and so I think, and that's how I know that if a child is holding something against a parent, I know we off the subject a little, but bear with me. If a child is holding something against a parent, it's because the other parent is tainting them against them. Whether they stopped doing it, at one point, you were that venom, point blank. Like, there is no, my son, look, I can't say it enough. Loves his daddy. Why? Because I've never tainted him in any way against him. Now, he's asked me questions, and he's, because my son is very smart. He's very, intelligent. But I will never, even if I want to so bad. Sometimes you can just taste the words before they come out your mouth. You want to say it so bad. But I would never, ever talk him against his father. That's his dad. That is a part of him. right? Like, you are talking your child against a part of them. You are teaching them to hate a part of them. I'm getting emotional, y'all. How many women are literally killing parts of their kids daily every time they spew venom at the father? Because you mad. You mad? You wanna argue? It made me think about that TikTok reel. Them videos is funny. You mad? You wanna argue? But you mad because he left, or because it didn't work, or because he got somebody new, or your kids is 30, 40. Why you still mad, sis? Grow up. Why he still gotta pay and you got grandkids? Come on now. You in your 60s. Come on now. And if you in your 20s and your 30s and you being like your mama and them and your auntie and them, you need to stop it right now. You need to learn some sense. Break that generational curse now. And give your child life by speaking life into their father through the child. You ain't got to love him. You ain't got to spend time with him. You ain't got to talk to him on the phone other than about your children. You ain't even got to do that now. They got apps where you can communicate. You ain't got to go to lunch with him, go to dinner with him, buy him gifts. You ain't got to do none of that. But respect the fact that that is a part of your child. Remember, that's the one who had your butt tooted in the air. That's the one who you used to call your bae, your boo. But now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to remember. And so, I've always respected the fact that my son's father respects the fact that I am the mama. And he lets everyone know who's the mama. You know, even though we have had our times and our... Lord Jesus. But it was growth and development on both of our parts that was needed. And you are able to co-parent. You are able to come out of a relationship once everybody gets past whatever they're going through individually. Because that's all it is. When a person is still upset or mad at themselves, then they're going to spew that out on you. They're going to attack you when they're not mature enough to go within and deal with it. And deal with their own demons themselves. Deal with their own issues themselves. And so, I know, especially at my beginning, with my first marriage, I was just confused and frustrated as to why I was being treated certain ways and why I was, because my heart was pure. I was like, I'm a good person. I'm trying to do right and not this. So why am this? But now I understand why I was the reciprocant of certain things, because of the vibration I give off or was giving off as a receiver, as a giver, or as a nurturer, or as someone who as a Gemini who only shows one side. But don't get it twisted. There is another one of me. Which they find out once they get with me. And then they're like, oh, okay. So I think I did have her pegged a little bit wrong. She not a pushover. I can't get over. No, you just, my nice, I try to be nice. But if you want to pull the other part of me out, she can sit. She can have the nice one sit down, and she can take over with no problems. But, we all live and learn. We can be good friends. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I never thought that would ever happen. Um, It was a time where me and my son's father, I want to say, when the pandemic first hit, he would call me. We would be discussing our son, and we would be on the phone before I looked up 30-40 minutes or so, right, discussing our son. There's no type of nothing between us, but we were able to cordially communicate. And for a minute there, I didn't think that would ever happen again. And it used to kind of bother me, because I'm like, we should be able to be adults about this. And once I stopped thinking everything he did was an attack, or everything he said was underhanded, or once I just accepted who he was, allowed him to be who he was at that point in my life, then I was able to receive and vice versa. Whatever he was, because I can't speak for him, but I know I started getting a different side of him, and the normal side that I should have been getting all along. But yeah, it's for both people to understand who they are, what they need from themselves, not what they need from the other person, but what they need from themselves, and what they need to give to the other person, in order for things to work. And so, yeah, I just want us to understand that marriage is for whoever wants to be married. Like, marriage is for the strong, marriage is for the weak, marriage is for whoever decides. And because you don't stay in a marriage, because you have maybe had multiple marriages, does not make you less of a person, does not make you less than a person. And I'm grateful that I am able to have this opportunity to be on the side of this. I don't regret, not being in a marriage for 10, 15, 20 years, because my son will be 14 coming soon. So I would have been almost going on 20 years in a marriage, right? But I don't regret not having that under my belt, because that doesn't make me no less of I'm more of a woman now than I probably would have been had I stayed in the first marriage, because I have more experience. I've been exposed to more things, more people, more opinions, I would have been more closed-minded, because I would have been a wife the entire time, right? I've had single days, then I went into a wife mode, then I went into a ex mode, then I went to single mode, then I started dating again, then I went into another wife mode, then you know what I'm saying? So I've been through the various phases at different stages in different ages, so I'm able to see things from 2, 3, 4, 10 different perspectives and different ways of looking at life, which is what you should want from life. Like, it's beautiful when you're able to see people for who they are, where they are. I can talk to multiple people about multiple things. Like I said, besides the fact that I am a Gemini, that's just a part of our nature. We're like chameleons, what they call it. We blend in. Like, I can speak with the kings and queens and the banquets with all the officials, and I can go to the hood and I can chill with the homies. But it also helps to have an open mind, to be able to give people the chance to be themselves, and to feel like they're special. Everybody deserves to feel special, because everyone is special. And just because someone has not stuck it out and Lord Jesus, I'm the stuff you hear. Stayed in there, fought through, and what was the other saying? If it ain't worth fighting for, it ain't worth it. If you ain't, no, some things are not worth fighting for. You have to know your value. You have to know your worth. You have to know your seasons. You have to know your time frame and your zone in life. I think back now, and I told my second husband, after I had left the first, that one time during being married the first time, early in the marriage, I can remember looking out of one of my picture windows in one of the homes we lived in, and I heard clear as day that I would not be married over 4 years. And during that time, because I was raised in that closed mind belief system, first thing I did was shook my hand and said, "Loose here, devil." But that was not the devil. Like, that didn't have nothing to do with the devil. And that's why I laugh when, I'm like, the devil, I know the devil tired of everything being blamed on him. Because I be tired of folks blaming me for stuff. So I feel it. Folk always want to blame you for everything. Nobody want to take responsibility for their actions or for what reactions or results or what happens from the decisions that they have made in their life. Everybody wants to blame and point the finger at everybody else. And so it's time for us as adults to just, if you want to stay with the same person, right? If you want to be in a marriage and make it work, then just do that. But don't down other people who don't. And if you, like me, I don't down people. I got girlfriends who I want them in their marriages to work. I want to see them. I enjoy seeing the anniversaries and the pictures of their, I love their husbands and them, and I've been there with them before they got married. Me and some of my friends, we've been friends since junior high school, right? Elementary school. And I've been knowing their husbands since we were in high school, college. So I love the love that they have. Like, I don't envy them, or I don't have any ill feelings in my heart against their husbands, or I don't try to talk them against their husbands, or girl, watch them because they no. My heart, genuinely, I am a pure positive energetic person who wants to see people genuinely happy. That is just my entire goal in life. Now, I have an issue with my girls, and they know who they are, who are freaking miserable and still married. I'm gonna write a book about that. Instead of them doing what this song is saying, Pebble, this is Pebble's song by Rebel Day, just being good friends, which I tried to tell my last husband when I was leaving. I said, I really believe we were just meant to be good friends. Y'all, I was being serious. Why y'all laughing? Seriously, I told him that. I really believe it. But because of the dynamics of our relationship, the beliefs that we grew up in, if most women and men in the church would be honest, they would say the same thing. They should have just been friends with the person that they married the first time or the second time if they're remarried. And some of y'all, you're still with the person and you're like, man, we were better off as just friends. But you would never say that because you can't. But I'm just bold enough to say some stuff that folks thinking all the time. Because I'm tired of why I can't say it? Why you can't say it? Speak your truth. That's the problem. Y'all don't want folks to come out. Y'all want folks to hide stuff. Y'all want, because you had to hide stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's the issue. That's why you got so much health problems now. You got so many women having strokes at young ages. Holding that stuff in is not healthy. Your emotions are meant to be expressed. Like, you are meant to speak. You are meant to, you know what I'm saying, be able to use the mouth God gave you. He gave you two ears and one mouth for yeah. But he also gave you a mouth and a voice to speak and to use it. And it's okay to speak and use it. And there's so many people who are dying inside and killing themselves emotionally, which turns into the physical ailments, turns into the bad choices of foods, and which then upsets and disrupts the organs and the bodies, and then you get all the diseases and the cancers, and that stuff starts with emotional issues, mental issues. That's the start of it. Vibrationally, emotionally, you're all out of whack. Which then it has to come out some kind of way. Since you're not expressing it, it's gonna come out. So it's gonna come out through your physical body as a disease. Dis-ease. D-I-S-ease. Your body is in dis-ease because of the emotions that you are not properly maintaining or allowing to be expressed daily. And that daily turns into weekly, that weekly turns into monthly, that monthly turns into year after year after year after year. And that's what you're doing. You're feeling like you're going crazy daily. You want to be woken up. You're living through other people. Why do you think social media is one of the freaking most billion-dollar industry? Why do you think entertainment industry, actors and actresses, I'm gonna be honest, they deserve the money they get. They deserve ball players and stuff, sports, because they give you that out to live. You're living through them. You are not living. You are living through them. That's why you watch those movies. That's why are those romantic? Also, I'm gonna start writing them. I'm gonna start getting some of that money. Why are those nasty romantic books so popular? Because women are not living that life. Okay, I will say this, and don't think I ain't never had to read them books. If you're getting it, if you're living that, you don't have to read that. You're only reading stuff or dealing with stuff that you really don't. I find that more and more, and that's, like I said, that's my opinion, my perspective. Everybody do what they want. Maybe some people just like it. They may be getting it, but they just still like to read it. But like, you don't have to do certain things if you're living it, because you're living it. When I moved into, at one point I lived in a 3,800 square foot house, beautiful. They used to call it the mini mansion, mini White House. When I lived in the house, I didn't want to go on vacation anymore because my house was a vacation. I had a spa tub, I had a jacuzzi, I had all of that. I had a swimming pool, I had everything. I had what do we have? Fireplace in the bedroom, and I had what. Now I would go on vacation because we love to travel and we love to go out, but I wasn't doing it for the reason I was doing it for before I had the home. When I went to the hotel, I was going on vacation actually for the vacation then. The hotel was just someplace for me to sleep. And I was like, man, I can't wait to get home and get in my bed. I can't wait to get in my tub. It wasn't like, oh, how you go on vacation and you got a old square tub at home, and you go on vacation and you be like, oh, if I could just take this tub home with me. Right? Because you don't have that home. Or, oh, if I could take this pool, or oh, if I could take this stove or this kitchen. But if you have that, you're not tripping off of that. And that's why, like with the celebrities and stuff that you see, they go on, trips and stuff. They do it because they can. It's not that, because their home is more immaculate than the hotels that they're in, the resorts that they're in. They're doing it for the feeling of it. They're doing it for the vibe. They're doing it for the enjoyment of it, right? So you should be living your life, your marriage. Stop. Why would you want to? What it's doing is making me question you and your mental. Because why would you want to fight and have to literally hang on by threads in something that is so hard? And who does that to themselves? Do you not love yourself enough? Why are you in something that is so hard? Because it gives you stripes. It makes you feel like a warrior. Come on now. You should want your marriage to be a honeymoon daily. You should want your marriage to be, and it can be that. It is realistic. I know we say it's not, but it is. Because I have lived it in different stages of my marriages. It was because I totally didn't understand how to keep myself in alignment when they maybe were out of alignment, right? But once you get life and how it works, you can look in and see. And I'm telling y'all, you better know this next. Because when you get it, you get it. And it doesn't matter who you're with when you get it. They gonna get it too. And it's gonna be nice. You know? It wasn't supposed to have been gotten with the other people. It just wasn't. That's just the reality of it. They got the side of me that they were supposed to get. They got the side of me that they attracted from me daily or monthly or yearly. And I'm going to be honest. And if they were honest, because like I said, I was the person to leave, they would have never left me. Point blank. And I'm going to just keep it real. Pop my collar. I would still be, in my first marriage, I would still be there. And had I decided to still leave that one and go to the second one, I would still be in that one right now. Nobody gonna leave all this. And yes, I'm twerking. But women, that's what you got to know. If you know who you are, if you're confident, you know your worth, you know your value. I've never been I've never feared, oh, you're gonna let, what? Okay, even if that was that boy, bye. That movie, that would be my bye Felicia. Cause I'm about to call Tyrone. You gotta know who you are. You gotta know your worth. You gotta know your value. What they say? One bus sleep. You miss one bus or one bus. There's another bus. There are many fish in the sea. That's why men, women, relationship, don't stop beating yourself up. Stop hating your ex. Stop trying to. It's your pride. That's all that is. It's just the insecurities in you still as a person. It's you caring what the other people think. Stop caring what other people think, because they not living your life. If your relationship did not work or did not continue, if you were left or you were the person who did the leaving, wish the other person well and keep it pushing. Because I'm telling you, whatever you say against them or against what happened, or trying to always justify, trying to explain to other people, all you're doing is continuing that in your life for your next and your next and your good. That's why women keep getting with the same? Why do I always end up with the same situation? Why I always deal with the same? And then you want to go back to what I said at the beginning. You want to say that all men are this and every woman is that. No, it's you and what you are attracting. Your momentum. Like I told you, every phase, even in between my marriages, when I separate and became single again, I date and I deal with people. I have interactions with men. Men are different because I'm different, and I get from them. I attract according to who I am, not according to what other. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I left one and went into something else and still was holding on to the past or whatever, then yes, I'm going to pull that. If that is in this new person, I'm going to attract that out of them too. If you are all women, especially my women who get into the what they call the abusive relationships, right? And I know we want to always be the victim or consider ourselves the victim in that, but look at it from another perspective. If you become a different person, you would attract different from men. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to say which or where, or if it was a husband or if it was just somebody I dated or what, but I was with someone and their ex, when I had spoken to them at one point, told me that that person used to put hands on them. And that person had never, ever put a hand on me other than to, spank my booty. So that right there shows that no, it's what you got going on in you sometimes that attracts certain things from people. Now, I'm not saying, because the world is not going to agree with me, so I can't go there, but I'm gonna just leave that there, okay? Yeah. But we as women, we have to understand that if you are attracting certain qualities or certain characteristics from certain men, then you have a choice whether you stay or not. I'll just put it like that. And if you're staying, then that's on you. But you have the right to leave a situation, because no one deserves to be treated any type of way other than to be loved and appreciated. And that's how I'll put that, okay? You don't deserve it. You ain't no B, no hoe, and all of that. You ain't less than. No, you are a woman of value. And I don't even like the hater stuff no more. And women, they my haters, and why you hating? No, I don't even like that no more, because we all are beautiful. We all are deserving of special treatment, of feeling good, of looking good. Just because I don't like you, and I don't even say that. Just because I don't agree with you, or we don't know each other, right? Just because your business is doing more than my business, or I don't have a business, or you have a man and I don't, or just because we're different does not mean we have to be haters. Does not mean we have to envy, or you know what I'm saying? That all goes back to you as an individual not knowing your worth and your value. You can be a self-made woman. You can make yourself be whatever it is you want to be. The woman that you're hating, that you secretly admire, because that's all that is, that you really wish you could be like her, that you're just not woman enough to ask her what it is she did, or what it is she's doing, or help me, can you give me some tips, or can you know what I'm saying? It's okay to do that. But you can be the same type of woman that you're admiring. Like, I've gotten to the point, and it's so funny. I don't, like, I used to have women I looked up to. I don't have that anymore. And there's no shade on any other woman. It's just, I look up to myself now. Like, I don't need no mamas, no play mamas. I don't need no I mean, I have a mama. I have, a bonus mama. I have aunties, but looking out for people out who maybe doing this in the world or doing that in, like, oh, I want to. No, I don't have that anymore, because I know who I am. I know why I was created, and I'm proud of the woman I am and the woman I've become. And when you get there, then all that other stuff, the hating, that envy, that it doesn't matter. Even the, like, and that's why I tell people, you cannot take my social media serious at all half the time. Because a lot of those videos, I just like the reels. I'll hear what they're saying. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to do a video of that one. Ooh, I'm going to do a thing with that one. Right? But when it's talking about, he looked better with me, or I don't know why he was with you. When we have to stop attacking each other as women and realize it's okay. Okay, right now, if my ex gets with somebody else, I want her to say he looks better with her. Like, I do. Why would you get with a man and still be looking at his ex like she was better than you, or she was a better woman than you? Come on now. What is that? That is insecurity at its best. It should be okay for, I have no problems with a woman feeling that she's better than me for the person that I'm not with anymore. She's supposed to. That's okay. And once we as women understand that, then we will be okay. I have always, from the day I met her, and even before I met her, because my son told me how she was as a woman and in relation to him, and that's why I really didn't have no problems with her, because my son never had anything ill to say about her. But I loved my son's father's new wife. We are two totally different women, two totally different skin tones, two totally different body shapes, everything. But I have nothing wrong or nothing ill to say about her, because she's with now my son's father, and literally lit, because my son lives with his father, because she lives in a home with my son. I'm not inferior. I'm not taken back. I'm not jealous. I'm not none of that. Like, I respect her. I appreciate her for being a soft, gentle woman, figure there with my son when I'm not. And that, ladies, is where we all need to be. That's where we all need to grow to. I promise you, I'm so sick of these shows. It's good entertainment though. But I saw this one movie. The dude and the girl had split, and he had got with somebody else. And the girl was, from what I see, she was well off, wealthy. She was beautiful. But oh my God, that baby mama acted a nut. She found out she was at the house with, and I mean, she just going off, and why you gonna disrespect me like this? She all up in the daddy grill. You disrespecting me like this, got this in front of my baby, got that. And I'm like, looking at the movie, and it's a movie, y'all, but I'm still looking at it like, you need to chill out. The girl, the new one, ain't put hands on the kid, ain't did nothing wrong to the kid. They're with the father, helping the dad take care of the kid, and you just acting a fool, really, to get down to the truth of it, because he got somebody new. Point blank. Cause I know for a fact. Because I've been the new. I've been the new one in situations. And you hating on the new one because it's not you. Because you got some inner issues. It ain't got nothing to do with the new one. And ladies, you know I'm a woman and girl power, women power. But I'm going to just say this. Even with the other woman, or even with the chicks on the side, or even with the next that you thought broke y'all up, or that you swear up and down, you have concocted this story that it had to be another woman the reason he left, because he wouldn't have left me without it being her. So automatically the next is going to always be she was around before, and you gonna always, because you trying to justify within yourself why it didn't work when it just didn't work. And that's okay. And that woman still is a woman. She still is a human being who now just happens to be with the man you used to be with. And see, you gonna be that to somebody, but then you gonna flip that script, right? But then you gonna become, but if it's good for the goose. So see, we don't make sense at all in a lot of stuff. We down the other woman when we not the other woman, but when we become the other woman, then the other woman is okay. Huh? So we gotta figure out who are we and what we gonna do. And it all starts within each individual person. We all gotta grow, we all gotta develop, and we then will be able to live happily ever, forever. Okay? So hopefully we have said something today to enlighten, to make you laugh, to make you think, to make you say, as they used to say. Alright? So, marriage is for whoever wants to be married. Point blank. It's for the strong, it's for the weak, it's for the whoever you are. It's for the pretty, it's for the not so. We all pretty. I'm gonna just say that. It's for the different, the unique. It's for everybody. How long you stay in it is according to your choice, your God-given right to choose. So never let anyone else make you feel less than or make you feel greater than or any of that, because all it does is really affect you. What you think on others, what you say on others doesn't affect them at all. It only affects them when they allow it to affect them. And so we have to start realizing that we must love, just be love. Be who you were created to be. And it will help you really see people differently and understand people and have more respect, I guess you could say, for more people. Alright? Okay. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. This has been your girl coach LockMarie saying ching 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 ching. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.